Good afternoon to all my students who are watching me. I hope all of you are good and in high spirits. So let us continue our class where we left in our previous class. You see, let us first do a fast recapitulation of what we have studied in our previous class. In our previous class, we have discussed certain important concepts which are important for you to know for Indian society. For example, we have discussed what is the meaning of pluralistic society, how it is different from the multicultural society, right? What is the concept of cultural lack, right? All these things you remembered, all that we have discussed all these facts in our previous class, and today I want to bring very important word which is nowadays are used very often, and in my previous class one of the student has also asked question on this, that is cultural intersection, right? That is your cultural intersectionality, or you can say culture intersectionality. Cultural intersectionality. So I am going to start our class from this particular term, cultural intersectionality. What is the meaning of cultural intersectionality? First of all, you see, this word is commonly used right now in the news, cultural intersectionality. What is the meaning of cultural intersectionality? In which context it is used? You see, first you write it down. Cultural intersectionality refers to the intersectionality between gender, race, caste, and other categories of differences on individuals, right? Let me give you an example to make this point much more lucid for you. Recently, in India's youth parliament, a girl from Nagaland has participated, and she made a very beautiful statement. She said that I'm from caste, I'm scheduled tribe, from gender, I am a woman, from state, I am from Nagaland, right? Therefore, when a person is having caste, race, gender, or you can say ethnicity, all this are in creating stumbling blocks are known as cultural intersectionality, right? Now, after this, we'll move to the topic of what are the salient features of our Indian society. Now, I'm coming to the directly to this topic. What are the features of culture? What are the features of Indian salient features of Indian society? Right? So let us start this. According to you, what is the most unique thing about Indian society? Tell me. What is the most unique aspects of Indian society? I'm not getting any response from the students actually. You see, first of all, Indian society is a multi-ethnic society, salient features of Indian society. The first is multi-ethnic society. The first is Indian society is multi-ethnic society. Write it down, multi-ethnic society. Multi-ethnic society implies that there is an coexistence of, it implies there is coexistence of various racial groups. Coexistence of various racial groups, right? The coexistence of various racial groups is the essence of multi-ethnic society. Therefore, India is a home to various ethnicities, right? For example, I'm talking to Kolkata students. In Kolkata itself, if you see, in Kolkata, there is a one place where Chinese are residing. What is the name of that place where Chinese are living? Anyone? Chinese are living there, right? People of Chinese origin, and they're living in Calcutta since very long time. Then in Calcutta, people are coming from across the world. There is a one place called Mayapur, where the ISKCON headquarters is located, where you can find people of different nationalities are coming there and making it their permanent residence. You can find people from Bihar, people from Nepal, people from across India is coming and residing in your. Lot of Marwadis are there. Your entire Bada Bazaar area is basically of people from the Rajasthan. They are living there. So therefore, people of various ethnicities, various races are living together, and that is the idea of multi-ethnic society. Now let us come to the next topic. Is the next is India is a multilingual society. India is a multilingual society. Now, what is multilingual? Multilingual implies that India, across length and breadth of India, you can find more than 1600 languages. More than 1600 languages are being used by people for their communication across the length and breadth of India. Across the length and breadth of India. This is the every state has its own state recognized language. For example, West Bengal, Bengali is the language. Punjab, Punjabi is the language. You go to Karnataka, Kannada is the language. Tamil Nadu, Tamil is the language, right? And then as if you go to Assam, Assamese, Manipur, Manipuri, right? Therefore, every state has its own languages. Point number one. And in India, there is a saying, "Har कोस par pani badle har कोस pe bhasha." That har so कोस par, after traveling 100 kilometers, you will find there is a change in water, change in boli, change in language. Let me give you my example. Right at present, I am in Delhi. The moment you cross the border of Delhi, Sindhu border, and move towards GT Karnal Road, the way people are talking, you can, "Arey bike kis jaan lag raha hai, arey kis ja raha hai." This kind of language, entire this Haryana khadi language, what you call it, people will start using this language. Up another 100 kilometers, if you travel and you move towards Karnal, Ambala, you will see people speaking in Punjabi. "Maharaj kithe ja rahe ho tusi ithe baitho yaar." Language changes. In Punjab, you have Punjabi, right? So therefore, after every 100 kilometers, the language in India changes. The dialects changes, right? Clear? So that is another quality. India is a multilingual society. Apart from this, third, India is also a multi-class society. India is also a multi-class society. Now, what do you understand by multi-class society? What do you mean by multi-class? Anyone? You see, India, when I'm talking about multi-class, the multi-class society in terms of profession, if you see, in terms of financial status, right? Therefore, India, there is a presence of multiple classes are present in India. In India, you can see people, labor class, people are working as a labor in organized sector. In India, you can see worker class, you can see people who are doing white collar job, blue collar jobs, right? People who are employed in service sector, people who are employed in, therefore all these different professions are producing different classes. In terms of profession, in terms of finance, if I talk in terms of finance, there are people based on their financial capacity, they are categorized as a middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class, India's high class, right? This is how, based on our yearly earning, our this you earlier before Niti Ayog, the Yojana Ayog, which categorized the people on the basis of their yearly earning between lower class, middle class, high class, and so on. So therefore, India is a home to multiple classes, and all these classes are living in harmony with each other. There is an element of tolerance towards each other. For example, if I see Kolkata, because I'm teaching Kolkata students, the Kolkata is the best example. And if you move around Esplanade, if you move around Park Street, if you go to the posh areas, if you look at the very elite clubs in Kolkata like Tollygunge Club, Dalhousie Club, they are the elite clubs. So what you are seeing there, an elite class, upper middle class is a part of this elite organizations, right? You are seeing an element of affluence, prosperity, luxury. But on the same side, if you move further, you can see there are slums also in Calcutta. There are people who are not even having access to basic needs of the life, right? Therefore, India is a home of all these classes, right? Now, let's move to the next point. I think this point is clear to you. You can write it down. Indian society is segmented into, please write it down. Indian society is segmented into multiple classes, and this division of classes can be on the basis of finance and social achievements during one's lifetime. Social achievements during one's lifetime, right? This is called your multi-class society. Now, another very unique feature of Indian society is Indian society is basically a patriarchal society. Indian society is basically a patriarchal. Now, what is the meaning of patriarchal in Hindi? That is Pitrasattakamak. That in India, our society is driven, it is a male dominated society, right? Whether you are in Kolkata, you are in Tamil Nadu, you go to any place, Indian society is largely a patriarchal society, except tribes or the northeastern states, where you will not find the elements of patriarchalism there in their society. Otherwise, on a majority of places in India, Indian society is driven by patriarchal society. Write it down. Indian society is largely a patriarchal society where men is having, Indian society is largely a patriarchal society where men enjoys greater status than women, but there are certain exceptions also. But there are certain exceptions also. These exceptions are your tribal societies and your northeast state societies in northeast states. They are matrilineal societies. They are matrilineal society. Let me share you one thing. I went to Manipur. I was called by State Civil Services Academy of Manipur to come and deliver lectures on Indian society. I went there. So there is a place in Imphal which is known as Amma, if I am not wrong. That is Amma Market. This place is known as Amma Market. Correct me if my pronunciation is not right. There, what you see, the entire market, you will not find a single man. The entire market, all the shops are owned and run by women. Therefore, this market is known as Amma Market and it is one of the largest markets in Imphal. So that was a kind of shock for me because as a person coming from North India, that too coming from a place like Delhi, where you will not find women's on the road after 9 o'clock. That is a reality, right? And if you go to any market, whether it is Paharganj, Karol Bagh, Chandni Chowk, Connaught Place in Delhi, majority, 99% I would say, the shops are running by men, businesses are running by men, and you will find only men there. But it was an astonishing experience for me when I went to Imphal. What I am looking, that the entire market is run by women's. Then there is a very famous restaurant also where I visited. It is very famous for its food. That is Lakshmi something, Lakshmi restaurant something. In that society also, what I saw, women's are preparing the food in their conventional traditional style, and I didn't saw any male cook there. On the other hand, if you visit any restaurant in Delhi, all the food you will find, in 99% cases, you will find only the presence of man in the kitchens, right? Of the restaurant kitchens, yeah, right? So that domain is also dominated by men. Therefore, what I mean to say, that these societies are driven by male dominance. Today, the surname that we are using, that surname is of our father's surname. We are known by our lineage from our father's side. You are getting my point. Therefore, India is a patriarchal society. That is another unique feature about Indian society. Now move to the next one. The next is fifth point. There is a coexistence of traditionalism and modernity in Indian society. There is a coexistence between tradition and modernity, right? That both traditionalism and modernity you can experience in your city, in your life, right? Today, let me give an example. Today, if you go to Calcutta, in Park Street, because this is one of the famous, shopping hub of the Calcutta, you will find the famous cafes, you find the famous pubs. You can easily figure out English speaking population there. You can easily figure out new institutions, modern institutions are coming up, right? You will find majority of the women which I saw in Park Street were in their western outfits. But on the same side, when Durga Puja comes, the entire Kolkata becomes a city which is celebrating its tradition. You will find 99% of the women wearing their traditional sarees, in their traditional makeup, and everywhere you can find that Durga Puja is taking place. And there is a saying that if you really want to enjoy Kolkata, please visit Kolkata during the Durga Puja. There you can see the vibes of that particular city. Correct me if I am wrong, boys, and the girls who are listening this. Correct me. Therefore, on the one side, you can find people in the coffee house of Calcutta, you can find people talking about Marx, people debating about Che Guevara, people talking about about Marxist communism and so on. On the same side, you are finding that people are celebrating with great pomp and joy the traditional festivals of India, right? Like your Durga Puja, I've given example. You can see that today in contemporary times, today Indian women's are becoming working women's. They are studying, they are getting good qualifications, they are becoming doctors, engineers, IAS officers, and when they are going to office, sometimes they are wearing western outfits also, but in the same way they are also wearing Mangal Sutra also. They are also wearing that traditional kada of white color, and white and red color bangles they used to wear. That is that tradition and modernity are living together in Indian society. You need to understand, this is the beauty of this country. We have selected modernity. Our modernity is not detaching us from our roots. There are both the things. Tradition is also living here and modernity is also there. So they are all in tolerance with each other. They are not creating a dispute. They are not creating a conflict. That is why you have written that in Indian society, modernity and tradition coexist together. This is the uniqueness of Indian society. This kind of uniqueness you will not find anywhere, right? I have seen, if you go to, there is a one place where I went that is known as Kali Ghat, I guess, where you are having that famous temple dedicated to Ramakrishna Paramahans, and then there is a Belur Math is there. I can see hundreds of people, thousands of people thronging that place. On the same side, when I'm sitting in coffee home in Calcutta, when I'm moving around College Book Street, I can see that people are talking about Marx, people are talking about Che Guevara, people are talking about Marxism. West Bengal is a state where communist government ruled for around 27 years. It was considered as a bastion of communist government. But same time, people of Kolkata are also deeply attached to their culture, deeply attached to their language, deeply attached to their traditions. Both the things are living together. Therefore, this is the unique thing about. नहीं आ रहा है. Chats are not coming actually. Is there any problem? अच्छा अच्छा okay 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 अच्छा 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 okay okay thank you. All the students who are listening to me, I'm not getting a response from your side here. I thought that why chats are not coming here. Yesterday I was getting proper interaction from your side. Therefore, keep talking to me. Otherwise, it will become a monologue. Right? Whatever doubt you are having, you can just immediately chat with me. I will try to answer your doubts as much as possible in the class itself. Right? So there is a presence of tradition and modernity also. I give you one more example. If you have seen the stock markets, in stock markets, people are working nowadays on computers. People are using laptops. People are using Apple iPads. But on the day of Diwali, they are worshipping. They are putting red tilak on their laptops. They're doing the puja of their computers. Must have seen that scene on the TV. They are on the day of Diwali. So this is tradition and modernity are coexisting together in India, and that is the beauty of India. Today, you all are young generation, you are a YouTube generation, Google generation, right? But every girl, every boy, when they wants to get married, they wants to invite their friends, their entire family. Arranged marriage is taking place in India. We are still following arranged marriage format, but the style of doing marriage has changed. Now we are doing destination marriage. We are having DJs. We are having, bachelor's party. That thing has come up. These are the modern things, right? Today, on the day of wedding, the girl side is performing a dance performances there from the father-in-law, mother-in-law. There is a dance performance from the boys side also, right? Where you are playing the song Didi Tera Devar Divana. You are dancing on the songs of Madhuri Dixit and so on, right? Therefore, there is a presence of both the things, modernity simultaneously, parallelly, tradition also. This is the unique society of Indian society, right? Let's move to next one. Now, there is another thing that I want to bring. The next is there is a kind of balance. I would say there is an existence of spiritualism and materialism there is an existence of spiritualism and materialism in Indian society. In Indian society. See the beauty of this country. Spiritualism and materialism are coexisting together. See, let me recently, I think day before yesterday or 2-3 days back, I was reading a news article in the newspaper where there is a one gentleman who was considered as the right hand of Mukesh Ambani, and his annual package was 75 crores per annum. He resigned from his job and he has become a Jain monk. Can you imagine this? A man who is heading the Reliance company, who's a real executive of Reliance company, one of the highest posts that man was occupying in the Reliance industry, which is considered to be one of the biggest industries of this country, and his annual package was 75 crore rupees. 75 crore package, can you imagine? And that man has, after obeying all his family responsibilities, he has taken a voluntary retirement. He requested Mukesh Ambani, is his best friend. He requested Mukesh Ambani, you please relieve me of all my jobs and responsibilities. And he has become a Jain monk. This thing can take place only in India, right? We are still having this fear कि किसी का बुरा नहीं करना. Don't do harm to other. If you do harm to other, the same thing will come back to you. There is one practice in Jain religion. I think there are substantive number of Jains in Kolkata also, so you can better comprehend it, and it is a part of your culture also. You should know this. They used to celebrate one day as a Shama Divas, where they ask for forgiveness to everyone. This is known as Shama Divas, right? There is a saying, and above all, let me give you one more example. You go to, I think there are substantive number of Marwadi population staying in Calcutta. You can talk to them. Marwadis are croropatis. They are having huge amount of wealth. Right or wrong, they are having more wealth. If I say in a lighter mode, they are having more wealth than the original inhabitants of Calcutta, right? They are having lot of money. But have you ever seen any Marwadi showing affluence of money, showing attitude, and spending money recklessly, you will never figure it out. They are the people who knows how to digest success. You talk to any Marwadi, they will look like a normal person. They will talk like a normal person. They will interact in a very, like you will think, how can this man, after talking to him, you will really surprise how this man can be a millionaire. But they are doing business, and they are, and your Calcutta, there is a one place in Calcutta, if I'm not able, I'm not, if I'm able to recall correctly, that place is known as a millionaire's chowk, Crorepati chowk, where all the big industrialists are having their houses. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody can update my information, so I shall be highly obliged in the class. There is a one place where your Birla is having the bungalow, Barasia is having a bungalow, Dalmia is having a bungalow, and that place is known as the millionaire's chowk, Crorepati chowk. All these people came to Kolkata. All the Marwadi people of Rajasthan migrated to Kolkata, and from there they started the business. The oldest bungalow of Birlas are there in Kolkata. Correct me if I am wrong. You talk to them; they're very simple people, and they always involve in religious activities. Therefore, in India, spiritualism and materialism are coexisting together. They are not in conflict. You see, if you are wealthy person, if you are having rich, whether you are wealthy or not, that doesn't matter. But on the day there are certain occasions in your family, let us say on your birthday, your mother must be distributing food or anything, some chocolates, some toffees to the poor people, right? That is the culture of India. We respect, right? So there is an existence of spirituality as well as materialism in India, right? Therefore, if you look at the philanthropic activities taking place in India, you will find that majority of philanthropy used to take place in religion. You go to Haridwar. Have you ever been to Haridwar, Rishikesh? Any one of you? All the dharamshalas in Haridwar are made by the majority of the dharamshalas, I would say, they are run, managed, operated and made by your business community. Clearly. And these dharamshalas are open for all. Recently, Gita Press has got a Gandhi Peace Prize. I don't want to go into the into that debate whether Gita Press should get a Gandhi Peace Prize or not, because but the example I want to, why I want to give this, that Gita Press, the people who started Gita Press, they are the richest Marwadis, and their objective is to disseminate the information related to Hindu scriptures, Hindu gods, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, and so on, and at that too at a very nominal cost, so that even a person having less money, who's not well off, can have access to the Hindu scriptures. That was the objective. I don't want to go into the detail that the revolver which was used for killing Mahatma Gandhi came from the Gita Press, Gorakhpur. So that is another dimension of history. And today, this and I don't want to go into that debate, but you need to focus on that they are disseminating information in the form of printed booklets. Gita Press has played a very important role in spreading the message of Hindu scriptures, Hindu gods, all your Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, that Garud Puran, all these things are published by Gita Press, and now they have a pan India and international presence. Yeah. Recently, this organization was in the news, right? What I want to say, that what the point that I want to make, that in India, both spirituality and materialism are coexisting together. This is one of the most unique features of Indian society. Now, you can write few lines on that so that you can better, because these are the points which normally does not come to the mind of the students actually, and I want you that you should mention unique points about Indian society. You see, spiritualism main focus is to promote individuals' experience with God. You see, there is a difference between a religion and spirituality. In spirituality, there is no middleman between you and God. There is no middleman. For example, I'm also a follower of Sri Paramahansa Yogananda, who established Yogoda Satsang Society. They are having their ashram in Kalighat. The place is Kalighat. Am I right or wrong? Where you are having that temple of Ramakrishna Paramahansa also, and they are having their ashram, right? I'm also he is my Guruji. I also follow him. Therefore, and what I saw, the people across the world used to follow him. People who have done extremely well in terms of wealth creation. They are the CEOs. Even you will surprised to know the founder of the co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, used to follow him. And at his death, his book An Autobiography of Yogi was given to every visitor who came on his death. You have seen that you must have come across a lot of people like that. Mark Zuckerberg, he came to this place called Kanchi Dham near Nainital for getting the blessings of Neem Karoli Baba. And even the Steve Jobs, the idea that Steve Jobs, the symbol of Apple, the half cut apple, that symbol, when he came to India, he got in Prasad, he got that एक एप्पल मिला उसको प्रसाद में, वो कटा हुआ था, तो from there he made the symbol of half cut apple by Steve Jobs. Therefore, there is a coexistence of spirituality and materialism. In India, you can find a lot of people who are very rich, but they're religiously very inclined. They are finding the salvation. We have seen the biggest personality like Lord Buddha. He was a king and he left everything in search of God. Right? Write down few lines on that. Spiritualism spiritualism main focus is to promote an individual's experience with God, whereas materialism is a tendency to consider material possessions and physical comfort as more important than spiritual values. This is a very basic difference between spirituality and materialism. Indian society is largely spiritually oriented. However, due to the impact of westernization, materialistic tendencies have also become visible in Indian society. Right? This you have to return. Now, let us move towards another important thing, that Indian society, you can see there is a balance between individualism and collectivism. Right? There is a balance between individualism and collectivism. And when I'm talking about individualism and collectivism, what picture comes to your mind? Can you just give me your reply? Tell me quickly. What comes to your idea of individualism and collectivism? When I'm talking about individualism, it talks about self-reliance. Therefore, individualism is basically a moral outlook that focuses on human independence. It talks about liberty. It focuses on self-reliance. Whereas collectivism implies giving importance to group, community. Right? You see, because you see in you are having GS paper for ethics, and in ethics you have one topic called Indian Indian philosophers, moral thinkers. If you look at the entire gamut of India, that Indian great leaders, great spiritual leaders or political leaders, there is not a single person who said that I want to become successful because I want wealth only. For example, I give you the men who did that thing which was not even possible by God. God Himself failed to achieve the objective. The great saints such as Kabir, Nanak, even Lord Buddha, Mahavir, they are not able to achieve that, which a man called Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has achieved for the marginalized sections of society in this country. And today you are seeing that a women coming from the most marginalized section of society, scheduled tribes, that too in Odisha, she is becoming the president of India. We have seen K.R. Narayanan becoming the president of India, the supreme commander of our armed forces. We have seen that there is now an equality is emerging in Indian society. Of course, there are challenges. Of course, there are a lot of bottlenecks and there is a long way to go. But still, we are able to create an element of equality in terms of political, social and economic. And that was the vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, you will surprise to know, he was the first Indian who did his PhD in economics, and not from any Makhanlal Chaturvedi University. He did this PhD in economics from one of the finest university of America. He studied in Gray's in London. He has a lot of option to settle down in America, forget about what is happening, because he wrote in his book, in his there is a his in his biography which is written by, if you get a time you can read it, Ambedkar Life and Mission by Dhananjay Keer. It is one of the most authentic biography written on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And there is one more book nowadays which is in the it was recently this book was released. It's a very good book and it can give you a lot of insights about his intellectual contribution to Indian society. That is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, part of a whole, as something like this by Ashok Gopal. It's a very good book. You can get a chance, you can read it. He has a chance because you see, he himself written that when he went to America, first time he felt how was it, how it feels that you are living in a free society where people are not judging you, where people are not asking you your caste, people are not judging you from your ascribed status. I'm using a word, ascribed status. What is ascribed status? Ascribed status implies that the things which you are getting from your birth. Here people are evaluating you on your merit, on your personal achievements. You can freely take breath in air. You can sit anywhere in the park. That are the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In his, there is a collection of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar writing speeches, which is released by Ministry of Social Justice and Welfare. If you get a chance, you can go through it because these are the sources I'm sharing with you. Maybe there are some students who will ask me, sir, from where you get this information. Therefore, it is important for me to share this thing. And he said that the moment I landed up in America, I was not treated as untouchable. Nobody is getting fear that I will not drink water from his hand. You are not allowed to touch the public tap. You are not allowed to go to the public hotel or restaurant, something like this. So he said that this is some kind of a unique experience for me. That is really. So he has a chance. He was studying in Columbia University. He was a part of Gray's Inn of London. He was a student of London School of Economics. He has a chance. He can stay there in India. Sorry, in London or America or Germany. He can settle there. He can easily get a professorship in Columbia University or any of the world's topmost, the kind of academic credentials Dr. Ambedkar was having. But instead of his individual comfort, he opted for collectivism. He opted for collectivism. He came to India and fought for those people who are voiceless, who have no voice, whom people are treating worse than animal. We are ready to have a pet dog in our house. We will play with that pet dog. That pet dog will take a jump on our bed. He will move on our bed. We have no problem. We are ready to drink the urine of the cow. We considered that urine of the cow is having lot of Ayurvedic medicinal benefits. We are ready to even, there is a one news during the COVID times that people are saying if you apply the cow dung on your entire body, the cow dung will help you from the coronavirus. We have seen all these things in our society. And here is a man who went to US, who became a first doctorate in economics, that too coming from the most marginalized section of society. Instead of staying in America, today if you see, if you go to Punjab, if you go to Andhra Pradesh, if you go to Gujarat, people are mad. People are mad to get a US visa. People are mad to get that status of NRI. In Punjab, though, there is a mad rush. Everybody wants to move out. And here is a man who's in that particular period of time coming back and working for the entire marginalized sections of society. This is and one thing more I would like to emphasize here. It is wrong that we think that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the leader of only depressed classes or the marginalized. He is the leader of everyone. Whether you are from whatever caste you are from, if you have read Constitution of India, if you have read his writings, then you will develop this idea that this man is not a man who belongs to one community. He is a man who is having a national outlook. He was a man who resigned from the cabinet on the basis of Hindu Code Bill. And what was the crux of Hindu Code Bill? His idea is to restructure the Hindu society on the basis of equality. His idea is to create reform in Hindu society, and in his Hindu Code Bill, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar categorically mentioned that a girl should have an equal right in the property of her father, the way a son is having an equal right in the property of his father. This was a very revolutionary idea in 1950. That Nehru said to Ambedkar that I do agree, I respect your idea, but the time I cannot put this idea into practice. And he drawbacks from implementing Hindu Code Bill. And on this particular point, that girl should have an equal right of property as a boy is having in his father. This was the point of debate on which Ambedkar resigned from the cabinet. And we called Ambedkar only a leader of Dalits. Ambedkar is only Dalit. Why? Because this is the misnomer which is prevalent in the society. And as a faculty, it becomes my moral, legal obligation to create objectivity in your mind, to create ability to think in your mind, to think correctly without having any social or family prejudices, and accept the things as they are. That is my job. And if you are able to do that, forget about civil services. Civil service is just a cakewalk, you will make it. These are the ideas, because if you are able to create the ability how to think, your job is done. And my job is to create that ability in you. And that is the reason I am bringing all these linkages in my lecture. Otherwise, what is happening? He was a man who said that there should be employment exchanges in every district, so that the youth of this country can go to the employment exchange, register himself, and if there is any vacancy, government will call. But you can ask your parents that there was a time, the moment you graduate from your college or you passed your 10th standard or your 12th standard, they used to go to the employment exchange and they used to register. Then employment exchange used to send letter to them that there is a job, you can go there for an interview. You can ask your parents. He was a man who said that women should get maternity leave. That today that women are getting maternity leave, it is the homework of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Therefore, he was a man who lived for collectivism, not for himself. He has made up his life. He is a product of Elphinstone College. Still, Elphinstone is one of the best colleges in Bombay. He went to US. He has a chance to stay in US. Forget about it. यार क्यों उनके चक्कर में पड़ो? क्या लेना देना, इतनी टेंशन यार. अब अमेरिका में आ गए, अपना अमेरिका में बंद रहते हैं. अपना ग्रीन कार्ड मिल जाएगा, we will get a green card, enjoy life, try to marry an American women and settle down there. क्यों चक्कर में पड़ना, क्यों अपना दिमाग खराब करो? वो भी सोच सकता था, but that is the reason I said in India there is a balance between individualism and collectivism. You can take the example of Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose, you see, he was not coming from any middle class family. His father was a great lawyer, one of the topmost lawyers of Cuttack. You just look at the house of Subhash Chandra Bose. In today's time, can we make such kind of a house? And he was having that kind of a huge house before 1947. So you see what kind of affluent family he was coming from. He was selected as an ICS officer, Indian Civil Services. Today we are, it is still very difficult for, still if you look at the success rate of IAS is just 0.2%. And he cracked ICS during British time period. So he could have continued with ICS, he could have enjoyed the life, bungalow, car, all the servants and the kind of paraphernalia that ICS officer used to have during British time period. He can become a very good blue-eyed child of Britishers. He can rise up to become the capsec or some secretary or the member of the Viceroy Council, and he would have lived in big bungalow and all that, get all the benefits of the British government. But what he chose? Instead of individualism, he opted for collectivism. He resigned from his service and he called his people, come forward and fight for this independence. It is your moral obligation to fight for the independence of your nation. And when his thoughts were not in consonance with the thoughts of national leaders who were at that time heading the Congress, he moved out of Congress. He made his own party. He went to Germany. He went to Italy. He started his own path. He established his own army. You see, this is called courage. This is called in India, individualism and collectivism are living together, and we have enough examples of this. Instead of his personal care, he sacrificed his entire life. He has not earned even a single penny for his family. His wife spent just a couple of days with him. Do you know that? His wife is a German woman. She spent few days with him because he said his vision was bigger. His dream was bigger. His life was dedicated to the people of his country. These are the ideals that India has. Can you imagine? Therefore, we say, Indian society, you will find individualism is living with collectivism. Whenever time of crisis comes, when crisis comes, we are the people who will forget about ourselves and move towards the larger goals. We have enormous list of people who have choose the welfare of the nation, welfare of the society over their personal comforts. This is the one side. You are preparing for UPSC, right? Therefore, it is mandatory on your part to create objectivity. This is one side, brighter side I have shown you. Let me show you the another darker side, murkier side. You see, in 2013-14, I guess in 2013, when Kedarnath tragedy happened. You know that Kedarnath tragedy happened in Uttarakhand when floods came and lot of people, swept away in the floods. Lot of people died. And some who were able to escape, they run towards the higher sides of the mountain. What happened there? They were looted. The women were raped, but was not. It didn't come out in the public. They were looted. And what people did? Because you see, Indian women always wear, married women, they wear Mangal Sutra, they wear gold bangles. So there were certain people who cut their hands and take out the gold bangles. This thing also happened. During the crisis, what they did, the 5 rupee packet of Parle Ji, they sold that packet for 500 rupees. That is also the one side of highest side of individualism that we can see. This is India. Both the sides are there. You can, for example, during COVID pandemic in Delhi, this is what happened with me. I'm sharing my personal example. I was severely infected with COVID, and my wife was also severely infected with COVID. You will surprised to know, I don't know how they came out with this data and people voluntarily coming forward. Because you see, when you are having COVID, your entire body becomes very weak. You're not even able to stand. You can't even take 10 steps. People voluntarily coming and helping the COVID patients. They were distributing food free of cost. Voluntarily, they are doing all these things and risking their life. They are working for the benefit of the COVID patients. This I have observed. For example, there is a one community called Sikh community, a great community who's always there to sacrifice for the well-being of others. If I tell you, please read the Sikh history, you will get enlightened what kind of ideals that community is built upon. When in Delhi, everybody in Delhi, forget in every entire India was struggling for getting oxygen cylinders, and these are the people who were distributing oxygen cylinders free of cost. And the cost of oxygen cylinders during the peak time, especially during the second COVID wave went to 75,000, 1 lakh, and they were distributing it free of cost to the people. This is the idea that I want to give to you, that Indian society is unique in this way. In Indian society, you will find the highest side of treachery, corruption. On the same side, there is a collectivism, desire to work for the country, desire to work for the welfare of all the sections of society. Let me give you one more example, especially to those people who are coming from marginalized sections of society. Do you know the name Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Who gave this Ambedkar surname? Any one of you? It is a part of your studies, you should know that. Ambedkar is a surname given to Dr. Bhim Rao. His real name was Bhim Rao Ramji Sakpal. This surname Ambedkar was given to that boy who was studying in 4th or 5th standard by his school teacher, who was himself a Brahmin. Do you believe this? And he was in love with that boy. And he said, Bhim, you are a very intelligent student, very loving student. And one day when he was coming from school, there was a heavy rain. Then he said he was standing outside on the road. Nobody was even allowing him to stand near the wall of their house. So somehow his teacher saw him. He called him inside the house, gave him towel, and he instructed his wife to cook food for him. So his wife was a little bit reluctant, and says, he's coming from a lower society, and you're allowing him to come inside the room, inside the house, and that you are saying that you please call him inside the kitchen. That I won't do. And that Brahmin teacher said, if you don't do, I will leave you. This is greatness. This is greatness of India. And can you imagine at that point of time, a man giving a kind of threaten to his wife that I will leave you if you don't cook food for this 4th class, 5th class boy. And ultimately, his wife has to accept it. She cooked food for Ambedkar and gave to him. If you look at his entire life, the entire education of Ambedkar was funded by Maharaja of Gaikwad, who himself was a Rajput, Kshatriya. We forget all these things. These things never discussed. Our job is to create only differences, create problems, we are always focusing on our differences. We are not focusing on our common things. We are not focusing that India has produced this kind of people. There should be an element of reconciliation should take place in Indian society. But that is not happening because we are always fighting on those things which are problematics, and the good things are not in our mainstream of discussion. When Dr. B.R. Ambedkar made Bahishkarani his Sabha, you will surprised to know, except Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, all the 15 members were Brahmins. Do you know this? When he founded his newspaper Muknayak, his entire newspaper was funded by Brahmins. Do you know this? Our job is to create enmity between Muslim and Hindu, between lower caste and upper caste. Yes, you have to see both the sides, positive side also, negative side also, so that we can create an objective mindset and can take a good reasonable decisions for the betterment of our society. So therefore, individualism and collectivism are living together in Indian society. This is the unique features of Indian society. Let's move to the next point. Let's move to the next point. Yes. Now, clear? Now move to the next one. The next point that I want to talk about is very unique. There is one social structure which is very unique, which is present only in Indian society. Can you tell me what is that? Can anyone guess? Quickly, I am waiting for a reply, then we'll move forward. You're right. Subhashri is absolutely right. Yesterday, a girl asked me a question about cultural intersectionality. I guess her name was Nimai. I think today you have got your answer, Nimai. Is she here? Nimai, are you present in the class? Okay. Because you see, it takes 20-30 seconds, time. There's a lag. Between you reply and I got an feedback here. Otherwise, it has to be spontaneous. And immediately, I should get to see your chat. What is that unique feature that no other society in the world is having? Only Indian society is having. Just, I want your answer for that. If I get your answer, only then I'll start. Take your time and think. What is that unique thing which only Indian society is having and no other society is having? I'm waiting. I still have not received your reply. All of you are there, na? Absolutely right. That's lovely, yeah. You guys are very intelligent here. Seriously, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Yeah, as Anirban, is it right pronunciation? Anirban has rightly pointed. It is the caste system. It is the caste system. Right. So now the another unique feature of Indian society is the caste system. Now let us discuss about caste system and try to develop our understanding on caste system. Right. Okay. What you understand by caste? Tell me quickly. Anyone? You see, let me start discussing this with you. in India, the caste first time came into existence. The caste first time came into existence. Okay, let us discuss caste system. Right. Caste system was not present in India. The first time before caste system, there was a concept of Varn. There was a concept of Varna. And one system, first time that is figured it out, it was in the Yajur Yajur Ved. The word Varn and the meaning of Varna is the color. It is the color of the skin. This word first time figured out in the Yajurveda. It was mentioned in the Yajurveda. And this Varna system, and from here comes the Varnashram system. Varn, which is based on that society is divided into four castes: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. B stands for Brahmin, K stands for Kshatriya, V stands for Vaishya and S stands for Shudra. Brahmins means they are the people who are involved in as teachers. Kshatriyas means they are the people who are the warriors. Varna means they are the business class. And Shudra means they are the service class. Okay. But this Varna system was not based on the birth. This you need to understand. That Varna system, this Varna ashram was not based on birth. It was based on your qualities. And you can see ample examples in ancient India, especially during Vedic times, that, for example, Vishwamitra, Maharishi Vishwamitra, was by birth, his caste was Kshatriya. His caste was Kshatriya, but after doing studies and doing lot of, after doing lot of meditation, tapasya and all that, he attained the status of Maharishi Vishwamitra, right? You can take the example of Vedvyas. Vedvyas, his mother was coming from a lower caste. His mother belongs to the caste of fishermen, Kevat, right? But he rose to the status of Maharishi Vedvyas, and who is the author of Mahabharata. This is the example I am giving to you. Therefore, the Varna system was not based on caste. It was based on birth. Later on, if you see that during Vedic times and during later Vedic times and up to, you can even say during even Mauryan period and post-Mauryan period, you are not witnessing a kind of very stratified society. There were people divided on the name of this Varna, but there is a common, interaction was there between them. But during the Gupta period, these distinctions becomes very rigid. And there one more community was added, which is known as untouchables. Untouchables are those people who are involved in the work of sweeping, as sweepers, cleaning, this kind of work. People who are building shoes, who are taking care of dead animals, making leather out of those dead animals. So they considered as untouchables. A new category was added, untouchable, and during Gupta period onwards, you see, during Gupta period started that this Varna system has converted into a caste system. ये किसमें convert हो गया? बहुत rigid system में convert हो गया. This system become rigid, number one. Number two, it become birth based. It become birth based, right? And as time passes on, this system become more dehumanizing, very dehumanizing system. Can you just imagine? Today, all of you are free to choose the profession of your choice. Nobody will say anything to you. And this exercise of choice is given to you by your constitution. Today, if you are able to qualify prelims examination, which is going to conduct in the next year in the month of May, the moment you clear your prelims exam, you are supposed to fill the DAF, which is known as detailed application form. And in the detailed application form, they will ask your choice. They will ask your preference of services. They will ask about your preference of zones. They will ask about your preference of cadre. Correct me if I am right. Correct me if I am wrong. If I am wrong. Today, your father can be a doctor. You are free to become a cricketer. Today, whatever caste, religion, region, place you are born in, if you have the guts, if you have a liking, you can become anything in your life. A person coming from a very remote village of West Bengal, a boy who was involved after his studies, he got involved in the Naxalite movement, a very British complexion, very thin guy. Can anybody imagine this British? Because you see, our Indian Bollywood industry is very much fascinated with fair skin actually. And a guy coming from West Bengal village, British guy, very thin guy, can become a great star in the Indian movies. I am talking about Mithun Chakravarti. This is India. He became a big star. He got 3 national awards, which is a great achievement. Right? Therefore, in contemporary time, the exercise of choice, that is what you call empowerment, where you can take decisions to make your life better on your own, without the compulsion of anyone. And here you see for thousands of years, in which year Gupta period came. Just think of it, from that period onwards, this Varna system became dehumanizing. There is no choice. For thousands of years, people were not choice. They have only one option to do what their 4 generations were doing. They cannot move out of that. Thousands of years have gone. Still they are pursuing the same thing. Can you imagine? No choice. And apart from this, you are being humiliated, degraded. You are treating worse than animal. You are allowed to have your dog and cow in your house, but you are not allowing a man in your house from that particular caste. Think of it. And they are our own people. They are our own people who are working for our betterment. Today, when COVID was there, COVID pandemic was there, entire India was shut down. Who are the people who are taking care of the garbage? Who are those people who are responsible for doing sanitation on the road? Who are those people who are taking the cleaning in hospitals during the COVID time? They are the people who are involved, and how we are treating them. Instead of expressing our gratefulness, we are calling them that you belong to lower caste. The people are not good. They don't have merit. We are born with merit here. This is the justice that we need to do with our fellow brothers. Here comes the problem. Here comes the problem. And that is the reason UPSC has given this topic Indian society in your exam. So that tomorrow when you will become bureaucrat, tomorrow when you will become civil servants and you will occupy the seats of power, so you have a kind of empathy in corner of your heart what these people are going through. And you can take decisions, you can make policy, you can formulate policies in favor of them and for their betterment. Instead of becoming a voice of powerful, your constitution expects you to become a voice of voiceless. This is what expected from you. These were the vision of founding fathers of India. But still India, our entire electoral politics, it is a matter of shame for us. Entire electoral politics is today based on caste system. Okay, Subrata, I'll consider you. Uh, fine. I'll take care of that. Don't worry. So all these things are happening. Therefore, it is important for us to understand. And from here, the caste system becomes much more rigid. Now, when this word scheduled caste, the word caste was first time used by Portuguese. You need to know that. And later on, scheduled caste was used by the Simon Commission to list the communities which will get the benefit, right? And then you have scheduled caste, then scheduled tribes, and then comes your OBC. So who used this term OBC first time? Who used the term OBC first time? Anyone? It is our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru who used this terminology, other backward caste first time. Okay. Now write down few lines on this. Write down. The early evidence. I hope, Subrata, now you write clearly so that you will not face any problem in dictation. The early evidence about Varna appears in the Yajurveda. The meaning of Varna, the literal meaning of Varna is color. The literal meaning of Varna is color. Later on, during Gupta time period, this concept becomes more rigid. This concept of Varna becomes more rigid, and it becomes Varna system become birth based. It becomes birth based. And for centuries, caste has dictated almost every aspect of Indian society. Almost every aspect of Indian society. Right? In contemporary times, the two main forms of social stratification in Indian society The two main forms of social stratification in Indian society is caste and class. इसको अंडरलाइन करो और अंडरलाइन कैसे करेंगे जब तक तुम्हारा पेपर नहीं फटेगा. क्लियर? ऐसे अंडरलाइन करो. Subrata, now it is clear. Now you are able to take down the dictation clearly because you have written that you are not able to take. There are certain gaps. Right? Subrata, please reply. And caste was the most important agency of. And caste was the most important agency of. Caste was the most important agency of degradation, degradation, inequality, and inequality. It is the caste which determines the, it is the caste which determines the position that man occupies in society, that man occupies in society. It is entrenched in the Indian psyche. It is entrenched in the Indian psyche. The term caste is not an Indian one. The term caste is not an Indian one. It is coming from Portuguese word casta. It is coming from Portuguese word casta, C-A-S-T-A, casta. Casta, which means race or pure stock. Which means race or pure stock. Caste is basically an endogamous group. Caste is basically an endogamous group or collection of endogamous groups. Caste is basically an endogamous group or collection of endogamous groups having a common name, and the membership of this is hereditary in nature, and membership of which is hereditary in nature. Caste imposes certain restrictions on its members. Caste imposes certain restrictions on its members in the matters of social intercourse. For example, interdining among various castes are not allowed. For example, interdining, intercaste marriages are not allowed among the castes. And this system is receiving religious sanctions also. This system, caste system, is also receiving religion sanctions, which in turn solidified, into a rigid caste system. And this practice is largely confined to Hindu religion, and it is the Hindu belief, and it is the Hindu belief that individuals who do not abide by the rituals and duties of their caste, that individuals who are not abide by the rituals and duties of their caste, it is believed will be reborn in an inferior position in the next incarnation. Will be reborn in an inferior position in the next incarnation. लिख लिया? Done. Subrata, now you are comfortable? Kindly reply. Anyone else is having a problem in the dictation? Anyone else? Please let me know. I am waiting for your replies. Because until and unless you don't tell me, how I'll come to know. Now you moved on to the next topic. Next, you write it down. Characteristics of caste system. Characteristics of caste system. Number 1, rigidity. Caste system is highly rigid and does not allow mobility among different castes. Done. Number 2, caste system put restrictions on commensality. Caste systems put restrictions on commensality, which implies people of different castes, which implies commensality, which implies people of different caste cannot eat and drink together. And these restrictions are supported by religious scriptures also. Done. Point number 3, endogamy. The practice of marrying within the same caste, is another important element which helped its sustenance over the years. That even in present times in India, intercaste marriages are still a rarity. Next लिखो, caste system is hierarchical in nature. Caste system is hierarchical in nature. At the apex of which are Brahmins and the lowest rung belongs to Shudras. At the apex are Brahmins and the lowest rungs belongs to Shudras. Next लिखो, next point, untouchability. The most abominable, the most abominable, the most abominable feature of caste system was the practice of untouchability. Was the practice of untouchability. The people belonging to Shudras or Ati Shudra category, the people belonging to Shudras and Ati Shudra category were forced to maintain distance, were forced to maintain distance from the people of higher caste. For example, Shudras were not allowed to take water from the Shudras were not allowed to take water from the same well in a village. Done. During post-independence, people such as Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Periyar, Mahatma Gandhi, done. All of you have written. I'm waiting for your responses, yeah, because I'm not getting, so I'm getting confused whether you are writing it or not. Let me see. Why is not working? Please keep chatting. Reply to me, otherwise I won't be able to get whether you are able to write it or not. People after independence, people like Dr. Ambedkar, Periyar played an important role, in raising awareness, voice against untouchability. One response I got, one response. I don't know the name of this student. Okay, please keep sending this. And where is that by Subhashri? Now it is comfortable. I want to know you are from your side. Again and again I'm asking you. Now are you able to write? And it is reflected, in our Constitution of India, under Article 17. Untouchability is a crime, and Article 17 talks about abolition of untouchability. Done. Okay, done. So this is on caste system. The another important feature of Indian society is the religious diversity. Is the religious diversity. You will see India is home to four religions in the world. Four religions in the world. What they are? Number one, Hindu. Number two, Buddhism. Number third, Jains. Number four, Jain religion. Number four, Sikh. These four religions are born in India. Hindu religion, Buddhism, Jain and Sikh. Apart from this, there is a sizable presence of Christians, Parsi and Jews also. Jews are there in Calcutta also, right? Done. So therefore, all these things makes India a religious diverse country, and the most important, India, the biggest minority in India is Muslims. Biggest minority in India is Muslims. All these are living together. This is the greatness of India. Therefore, India has religious diversity. India has religious diversity. Write it down, a short note on that. Among the major religions in India, are Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Buddhism and Jainism. Zoroastrianism, Judaism and Bahaism. In Delhi, there is a place called Lotus Temple. In Delhi, there is a place called Lotus Temple, which is dedicated to Bahaism religion. It is dedicated to Bahaism religion, right? Are also present, but with lesser population. And but with a lesser population, at the same time, India is home to several indigenous faiths. India is home to several indigenous faiths which have survived the influence of major religions for centuries, and are holding the ground firmly. Therefore, regional coexistence of diverse religious groups, regional coexistence of diverse religious groups in the country makes it unique. Makes it unique. The Constitution of India recognizes the Constitution of India recognizes the religious diversity of India. The Constitution of India recognizes the religious diversity of India. Therefore, proclaims India to be a secular republic. Therefore, proclaims India to be a secular republic. Right. Next, Likho. I hope you are done with this. Now, the next important feature of Indian society is the family and kinship system. Family and kinship system. You see, why Indian civilization is still present in our lives. Indus civilization, which from where we come, is the oldest civilization of the world, and still it is surviving. Because the basic unit of any society is family, and we have a strong family tradition in Indian society, and that is the reason this concept of family makes India a unique society. Write down few lines on that. Family is the basic unit of society. Family is the basic unit of society. The family has following features. Number one, it provides social environment which influence the individual's early life. Number two, family plays a central position in the social structure of Indian society. Family plays a central position in the social structure of Indian society. Next point, it creates a sense of responsibility among different members of family. It creates a sense of responsibility among different members of family. Next point, it provides a social recognition of behavior. It teaches us, or you can say it provides us, whatever you like. It teaches us social recognition of behavior. Right. Next, Likho. The family is universally present in Indian society. The family is universally present in Indian society. Last, Likho. Family provides emotional support to individual members. Oblique diverse forms of family structure in Indian society. Diverse form of family structures in Indian society. Number one, in India, families can be matrilineal or patriarchal families. In India, families can be matrilineal or patriarchal. Number 2, on the basis of residence, some societies are matrilocal in their marriage and family customs. इसको underline करो word को matrilocal. Some societies are matrilocal in their marriage and family customs, while others are patrilocal. It implies the newly married couple stays with the women's parents, it becomes matrilocal. Whereas in the second case, the couple lives with the man's parents, that becomes patrilocal. इसको underline करो. Matrilocal and patrilocal. Next point लिखो. With regard to rules of inheritance, in matrilineal societies, the property is passed from mother to daughter, and in a patrilineal society, property is passed from father to son. So India is having both the structures of family: patrilineal, patriarchal, and matrilineal. India is having matrilocal also and patrilocal also. Next point लिखो. In patriarchal family structure, men exercise authority and dominance. In patriarchal family structure, the man exercises authority and dominance, whereas in matriarchal society, woman plays a dominant role. Next feature लिखो. Indian society is having both joint family as well as nuclear family. Indian society has both joint family and nuclear family. अब एक फटाफट joint family के features लिखो. Joint family के features लिखो. Features of joint family. Number 1, the authority in the family is determined by on the principle of seniority. What do you mean by this? The authority in the family is determined on the principle of seniority. How many of you are living in joint families? Can you tell me? You see, in joint families, if their dada is alive, then whatever dada will decide, you have to accept it. If in a joint family, your father's elder brother, that is your tauji, is living, whatever he decides, you have to accept it. Therefore, the authority in the family is determined on the principles of seniority. Whosoever is the older one, senior one, he will, decide what needs to be done. Point number 2. Right? Point number 2. Joint families. In joint families, women are not having adequate space to address their grievances. Joint family is an authoritarian structure. Joint family is an authoritarian authoritarian structure where decision making is in the hands of patriarch, where decision making is in the hands of patriarch. In joint family, the individual interests are subordinated to, in joint family, the individual interests are subordinated to the interest of the family as a whole, to the interest of the family as a whole. So these are the characteristics of joint family. Now let us move towards a nuclear family. Nuclear family implies husband, wife and their children. This constitutes nuclear family. Nuclear family is the feature of modern society. Nuclear family is the feature of modern society. Number one, democratic decision making. The features of nuclear family: democratic decision making. Number two, small size. Number third, high geographical mobility. And number four, conjugal relationship is dominant. Conjugal relationship is dominant. Now, how nuclear family emerged in India, that you need to know. Write it down. A shift from agriculture to manufacturing, a shift from agriculture to manufacturing and service, a shift from agriculture to manufacturing and service, migration from rural to urban areas, decrease in birth and death rates, increase in average expectation of life, and availability of elderly persons in the family. All these factors are responsible for the emergence of nuclear families. Now write down kinship system in India. Kin लिखो, write it down. Man cannot live alone in society. Man cannot live alone in society. From his birth till death, from his birth till death, he is surrounded by number of people. He is surrounded by number of people. All these people who are related to him either on the basis of blood or marriage. Therefore, the bond of blood or marriage, therefore, the bond of blood or marriage which binds people together in a group, which binds people together in a group is known as kinship system. Kinship system represents one of the basic social institutions right in Indian society. in Indian society, we follow a different kinship system in North India and South India. For example, in North India, after girl's marriage, she stays with her husband's parent. Therefore, women becomes a casual visitor to her parents' family. क्या होता है जब शादी हो जाती है लड़की कहाँ चली जाती है लड़के के घर चली जाती है तो फिर क्या होता है वो अपने माता पिता के साथ नहीं रहती वो किसी ओकेशन पर किसी फेस्टिवल पर किसी बर्थडे पर सोशल गैदरिंग पर तभी वो अपने घर आती है तो हमने क्या बोला therefore we say that the kinship system in North India and South India are different. In North India, after women becomes after women gets married, she becomes a casual visitor to her parents' family. On the other hand, in South India, marriage does not symbolize women's separation from her father's house. Next important point, in North India, bride giver is almost at similar level with bride taker. यानी कि लड़की के फादर और लड़के के फादर ऑलमोस्ट उनकी बराबर इज्जत होती है बट इन साउथ इंडिया bride giver is inferior to bride takers. Right. These are the few features of kinship system. Right. Now let's move to another one, that is tribal society. The another characteristic feature of Indian society is the presence of tribal society in India. Tribal society in India. Write down. Tribal people live in a definite topography. Tribal peoples live in a definite topography and it is a commonplace for all the members of a particular tribe. It is a commonplace for all the members of a particular tribe occupying that region. And there is an element of sense of unity among the tribal group. And tribal people generally do not marry outside their tribe. And marriage within the tribe is highly appreciated. Therefore, tribals are endogamous group. Therefore, tribals are endogamous groups. Tribals are endogamous groups. You can write it down this. Tribal people generally do not marry outside their tribe and marriage within the tribe is highly appreciated. Therefore, tribals are endogamous group. Tribals are endogamous group. Done. You see, today we have discussed various aspects of salient features of Indian society, in which we are discussing presence of tribal society in Indian society. We have discussed about caste system. We have seen how Indian society is multilingual, multi-ethnic, multicultural. All these constitutes the salient features of Indian society. We will meet again on Monday. Till then, keep revising your class notes, and if you have any doubt, any difficulty, please message on your chat and I'll try to answer, rectify and make it more easier for you. Okay? Wish you good luck. And it's really, I really appreciate your queries, the way you discuss with me. So keep chatting, keep studying, and I wish that you will achieve your objective of becoming an IAS officer. Thank you very much.